Right, so you've heard Andrew Tate has been charged with rape and human trafficking. I think it's one case of rape and several cases of human trafficking that he's been charged with. Now, I need to make one thing clear to people because they seem to be getting this confused. Being charged does not mean that you're going to prison. It means you're going to appear in court. It means that they're now looking at the evidence and they're going to, examine it. There's going to be a court hearing the same way there was with Johnny and Amber. And then if they find hard evidence, then he will be convicted. We don't know what the evidence is right now.
Yeah, but
evidence isn't proof, by the way. Evidence can be soft or hard. We don't know if it's going to stick.
Yeah. However, for it to get taken to this stage, evidence must be pretty good.
No, not necessarily. The government can charge you and send you to court. It doesn't mean the evidence is hard. So we don't know.
No, I'm not saying it's hard, but it must be good enough for them to want to take it further.
They must have enough. They must have enough. Whatever enough means to the government, I don't know. That exists on a spectrum. So I'm not entirely sure what enough means to a government, especially if they're out to get this guy. But he is going to court now. The only thing is that this isn't going to conclude for a couple of years. He's not going to court right now, but that's the next stage of it. So he's probably going to be on house arrest for another 1 to 2 years.
So is he still on house arrest? He's not been put in a cell, back in a cell again?
He's not been put back in a cell. They've left him in his house. Then the court trial I don't know how long the court trial is going to take. They're saying that this whole process is going to take a couple of years. So we're going to be here talking about this for years to come, apparently.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they've locked this guy down. I mean, he still has his Rumble account. He still has his Twitter account. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. So he has released a statement regarding what has happened. We're going to watch the video now. I personally, if you want my personal opinion on this whole Andrew Tate situation, I don't know what is going on. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. A lot of people speak very passionately about this, whether they're for or against him. From what I've seen of the guy versus how the media has reacted to him versus how they've reacted to people that have actually been caught grooming children, doing things they shouldn't have been doing, raping women, the media coverage of those people versus Andrew Tate, who has only been accused. Only charges have been brought against him. We don't know if he's done anything yet. We don't actually know. And that's not to say that, the Hustlers University thing I think is a little bit weird, but I don't know too much about it to go in depth. But it did seem a bit, it seems scammy to me, but I don't know too much about it. So, and that's not what they're getting him on anyway. They're trying to get him on raping a woman or raping several women, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't believe he has done.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe Andrew Tate is a saint, but I'm not a saint either. And neither is Sabi, as much as she wants to.
Yes, I am.
Nobody's a saint. Right?
I am.
We've all done things that we probably regret. Some of us have probably done things we regret a little bit more. And some of us maybe have done something that might be criminal. But trying to put human trafficking on somebody and raping somebody, that's something entirely different. So, no, I don't think Andrew Tate's a saint. I'm not a saint. None of my friends are saints. Most people I know are not saints. But this is different. This is a very, very serious charge they've levied against him.
But do I think he's been involved in dodgy stuff? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But you have to actually get hard evidence on somebody. And just because somebody's done bad thing over here doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do bad thing over here. I mean, I've known of people that have questionable morals, but there's things they won't do. So they might go and rob someone, but they won't rape a woman, for example. They might be a little bit more prone to violence, but they won't attack women, for example. I've known people that, they've done some shady things, but human trafficking, no. There's different types of criminals. So I think it's important to point out that, I don't believe Andrew Tate's a saint, but I don't think he's the monster that they're also saying that he is. I just don't. But we're going to watch his statement regarding the charge.
Can I ask you a question first? When you say you don't think that he is the monster that they make him out to be, can I ask you why?
Because the media coverage of Andrew Tate has been very disingenuous versus how they've treated actual monsters. And the way they've gone for him, the line of questioning, and the fact that there is no hard evidence. And the media outlets that are attacking this guy are the media outlets that have been lying to us for years. these news stations, these corporations, these governments, I don't trust any of them. And I'm not one of those people that is like, I've sat on this channel and in length said that I don't trust the pharmaceutical industry, that I don't trust the government, that I don't trust news channels, that I don't trust mainstream media or legacy media or Silicon Valley. And then just because they're all attacking him, be like, yeah, that makes sense. The people, all these things that I don't trust, now I'm going to trust what they have to say. That doesn't make sense to me. I have to exercise some level of skepticism. The way they treat people that have actually done disgusting things, the way they sweep things under the rug versus someone where we still don't know what he's done. Again, I'm not saying Andrew Tate's a saint, but saying that he's a rapist and a human trafficker is very, very serious. He'll go to prison for life if he gets convicted. So I have always been skeptical of all these people that are pointing the finger at him, all of these celebrities that are pointing the finger at him, all of these YouTubers that are pointing the finger at him. I'm not going to side, and I don't understand people who also have the same sentiment about the mainstream media, about legacy media, about corporations or whatever. But with Andrew Tate, they ignore the fact that these people lie to us consistently, feed us bullshit information, suppress information they don't want us to read about, and then put little warnings under our videos when we say something out of line. But they're happy to just ignore that and believe them when it's Andrew Tate. That to me is a little bit weird. Also, I do think it's fair to say, and I think this maybe some people might find this ridiculous, but I don't. Andrew Tate is so popular and so influential, especially over men, young and old, that I think that he has the power to sway an election.
Yeah.
I think he has the power to sway an election. And also, don't forget, the elections are coming up. The elections are on their way, right? This guy did an interview with Patrick Bet-David, and that interview has been up for 5 days now, and it has about 13 million views. 13 million views in 5 days. His brother, Tristan, did an interview with Patrick Bet-David a couple of days later. That video has about 5 million, 6 million views.
If he's still got access to his Twitter and his Rumble, then he can still sway people whether this was happening or not.
He has access to it for now. We don't know what's going to happen next. These institutions that are going after him are very powerful. And like I said, I don't know if Andrew Tate is guilty or not. I'll be honest with you, I lean in the camp of him not being what they say he is, just because the people pointing the finger at him are the ones that protect the people that do the nasty things, like Philip Schofield. The coverage of Philip Schofield was very skewed to make us feel sympathetic towards him. A lot of the coverage. Feels sorry for his mum. He feels that he's going to take his own life. Even the way they interview him, how are you doing today? How did the interview start with the BBC and Andrew Tate? So we heard you raped some women. Did you do that? Off rip.
Yeah.
People need to pay attention to what's going on here. Now, I'm not dick riding for Andrew Tate. It's just that is what is happening. People that do disgusting things that work for these corporations, they don't treat them the same way. That doesn't mean that Andrew Tate is innocent. I'm just pointing out the fact that these things are happening. I see the way the news report on certain things. The language they use is very nefarious and very intentional. So we'll react to the video, but did my reasoning make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Where do you sit on it?
I don't know. I've just tried to not have an opinion or any judgment on it until I know enough.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, do I think he's been involved in some dodgy stuff? More than likely. But I'm just waiting to see what actually happens and see what unfolds.
Yeah, I do think it's curious that there's a lot of people that don't actually watch Andrew Tate's content at all. They don't. I don't expect them to. If you don't like the guy, I'm not saying you have to watch him, but they consume clips through YouTube channels or media outlets that hate the man.
Base their judgments from that.
Then they make very absolute statements about him, and I'm just like, you cannot be that dense. You cannot be that dense. It's very easy for people to frame things in a certain way. If you want to get a nuanced opinion or a more full opinion, you need to watch. If you're that passionate about the guy and you hate him that much, you need to have good reasons for it. I had a conversation with one of my friends today, and I think he was trying to. All of us in the chat were basically saying we don't think he's done it, and he came out and said, "I don't think he's done it, but he's a scumbag." So then I said to him, "Why is he a scumbag?" Not because I got pressed by what he said. I just wanted to know, and he didn't know why. He thought Andrew Tate was a scumbag.
Yeah, that's what annoys me when people make a point and then they can't expand on it. It's like me saying, I think I don't know. I can't give you a good analogy right now, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The thing is that Andrew Tate may be a scumbag, but you can't sit there and say he's a scumbag unless you know why. Otherwise, you're just repeating what you've heard other people saying. It's popular in certain crowds to say that he's a scumbag. And like I said, it's fine for you to believe that he is, but you actually have to understand what you're saying. I had a conversation with one of our mutual friends, and he was saying that Jordan Peterson is a homophobe and a transphobe. And so I asked him, why is he a homophobe and a transphobe? I wasn't pressing him. I just wanted to know why. What did he say? Maybe he heard something that I didn't. Oh, I don't know. I haven't really looked into him.
Yeah,
So-
that makes no sense.
So why are you calling him a homophobe or a transphobe exactly? It's baffling to me that people have such strong opinions on people they don't actually know anything about. They've just heard on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, wherever, that Andrew Tate's the villain. And so you've echoed what they've said without actually looking into it yourself. Now, people do look into it and they have their opinions. Like Destiny, for example. I've seen Destiny watch his stuff. Destiny has his own opinions that I don't agree with. But you can actually have a back and forth with him because he's informed himself on Andrew Tate's media, and he's not just consumed clips and he's made a full opinion. But if you just hate him because he says things that leftists don't like, and maybe you heard something that sounded a little bit misogynistic, but you're not entirely sure, I can't really take you seriously. I don't think anybody should take you seriously. It's okay if you don't want to watch his content, but I don't think you should really espouse your opinions on it personally. I mean, you can. It's a free country, but you sound stupid.
So I just wanted to have an informal conversation. I was going to put a suit on and do this formally, but I think it's better if I do this informally. Highlighting some of the things that everybody already knows about how the Matrix operates and what they're trying to do to me and what I believe is going to happen next. It's quite interesting that they are attacking me and attempting to vilify me at the exact same time, whereas real predators, which work for the media establishment, are being ousted. So it's really interesting to do a juxtaposition and do a comparison, right, between how they will treat Philip Schofield, who is confirmed as a groomer, who is admitting he has committed sexual crimes, and how they'll treat me, a man with no convictions and no admission of sexual crimes. Look at the differences in the headlines. Look at how soft they are in their interviews with him.
You've had quite the week. How are you?
Look at how now, after only 2 or 3 days, the headlines are saying we should forgive him and feel sorry for him and let him off. Whereas me, who's been under constant media assault for over a year, they never let up. They never change. Someone sent me a clip yesterday of Philip Schofield saying he's going to kill himself and how sad he is.
Last week, if my daughters hadn't been there, then I wouldn't be here.
Why do they keep pushing me? Why do they keep pushing me, playing the sympathy card?
You see what I mean? Philip Schofield groomed a child. As far as I'm concerned, he's a kiddie fiddler. Okay, I'm not interested in what he does with his life going forward. I couldn't care less. But you see how the news outlet framed it? Enough is enough. Show compassion. Against someone that has admitted to doing it. What is your view on that?
You know what it is? I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest. Obviously, what Philip Schofield has done is wrong, etc., etc. There's no denying that. I didn't know that all of this was going on within the media, and I haven't seen any of these clips as well of him talking.
Oh, you haven't seen that interview?
No, I haven't
it's
kept up
very
to date
telling.
with what's actually going on with Philip Schofield. And
It's very
so
telling.
this is the first time I'm seeing of this, but just seeing from what you've shown me, I'm a very, I'm an empath. Yeah, I'm very empathetic. So sometimes when people do things wrong, the minute I see people sad, it's like instantly I feel sad. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's so sad. But that
he's a
doesn't change
groomer.
what he's done. Exactly. You're right.
Can I ask
It's
you,
wrong, but I don't know. That just breaks my heart seeing that.
why does it break your heart?
I don't know, because I don't like seeing people sad.
Even
Even though what he's done is wrong, yes, you're right. But I don't know what it is with me. I just, it gets me emotional. Maybe it's because I'm a sad person. You know what I mean?
Not a sad person.
But it's just like look.
I have no sympathy for
I get it. I
Philip
I
Schofield.
agree. I should be like that. I should be more like that. Like, don't get me wrong. If this was somebody who's gone and like raped a 4-year-old girl, I won't lie. I could happily sit and watch this person get killed and feel no way about it. And I know this is not very much
God
so
damn.
different because he's groomed a child, but I don't know. I just felt sad watching that video. That's all I'm saying.
They can bury Philip Schofield's ass under a prison. I would not care less. And I would hold that same energy if Andrew Tate did those things to those women. Like I said before, I don't want Andrew Tate to be guilty, because if he's guilty, that means all the things they've said, which are pretty terrible things, will come true. Right? All of those women will have suffered. I have no sympathy for people like this. I could care less. This interview they did with Philip Schofield actually made me sick. It made him look sympathetic. And then the headline's like, enough is enough. Fine, maybe enough is enough, but why is the energy not consistent?
It is, but it's still wrong that the media is even defending it, because that means they're essentially defending what he did wrong. You know, they're showing support behind that.
Why should
I
we show
get it.
compassion?
Yeah, I
Why?
get it.
That's someone's kid that you groomed, and I'm supposed to show you compassion. Because the way I see it is that if it's my niece or my nephew or my son or my daughter, and you did that to them, will I show compassion? No. So I'm going to hold the same energy for a stranger's child as well. Philip Schofield is a scumbag. ITV are scumbags because they protected this guy. And anybody else that knew about it are scumbags. The media outlets that are reporting this, saying enough is enough, they are scumbags as well. The interviewers that are giving him an out, they are scumbags. I don't care who it is. As far as I'm concerned, hold the same energy for groomers or pedos or whatever. And the problem here is that Philip Schofield has admitted to it, and yet they're trying to show him compassion and skew public opinion. And Andrew Tate, we still don't know what is going on. We do not know what is going on. We're not going to know unless they put cameras inside that court like they did with Johnny and Amber, and we can actually watch what is happening. The only problem is it's going to be in Romanian. So we're going to have to rely on a translator. We're going to have to rely on Romanians to legitimately translate this for us.
What does that mean? Andrew Tate will have to do his whole trial of him talking Romanian as well.
No, Andrew Tate can't speak Romanian. When he went in and
Exactly,
they charged
so
him...
we'll be able to hear... It's
Well,
going to have to be in English.
well, they're not going to put cameras in there. This isn't Hollywood. Like, they're not going to do that for us. They're going to charge him in Romanian. When he went to court, according to him and his brother, they were speaking Romanian, pointing at him, and then they put him in handcuffs, and he's standing like, what the fuck is going on? Because he doesn't speak the language. I'm assuming for this now that it's going up to, he's been charged, they're going to have a translator. But we're not going to know what's going on. We will not know what's going on. And the media will paint this however they want. Now, that's not me saying that he's definitely going to be innocent. I don't know what evidence they've levied against him, but I do not like how the media has protected certain individuals and spoken very lightly about them when we know they have done bad things.
Okay. Question. How would it make you feel, and what do you think your reaction would be if he got proven to be, say, guilty?
I'd be disappointed. I'd genuinely be disappointed, because Andrew Tate could do some good in the world, especially with the things he's been saying recently, him converting to Islam, the things that he's been talking about on his Twitter account and on his Rumble. I think he understands his power and influence, and if he hasn't done these bad things and he does get a second chance, he can genuinely do some good, because men do need a mentor these days.
Yeah, but do you think people will allow him to do that good? If he gets found innocent, they're still going to keep coming for him until eventually they take this guy down.
Yeah, I honestly, this is just my opinion. I know people in the comment section are going to disagree with me. I think Andrew Tate's head is on a swivel. I believe he's innocent. That's just my belief. I don't know if he's innocent. But I believe if he walks, he's only going to walk for so long.
I think he just needs to retire and go and live somewhere where no one's going to find him and just relax.
Well, again, in that Patrick Bet-David interview, he does say that that he's been offered money from very, very big, powerful entities to shut up, basically, and disappear, go live your life elsewhere, and he's turned it down. Now, obviously, again, I don't know if that's true, but Andrew Tate's already a very, very rich man, so I don't know if he would need people's.
Their money's not going to make a difference, and he probably likes having that power.
Yeah, the power is more important. The amount of power that Andrew Tate has is more important than any amount of money they could offer him. He's already rich enough to do what he wants. But the influence that he has over people, he could do a good thing of it. So obviously, I mean, I don't want anybody to be a human trafficker, because all that means is that a bunch of people got trafficked. So I hope that he's not guilty. Why would I want someone for it to come to light that they actually were a rapist, that they were actually using women against their will? Of course I don't want that to happen. And it just so happens in Andrew Tate's situation, he has a lot of sway. Doesn't matter what you say or what you think, that is just the facts. More people like this guy than dislike him. If you go and look at any videos this guy uploads, millions upon millions of views. He did a live stream the other day on his Rumble account when him and his brother left the jail. Apparently it was the third most watched stream in history. Like I don't just think on Rumble. I think it was the most watched stream on Rumble, period. But across YouTube, Twitch, whatever, Kick. So obviously there's people gravitate towards this guy. So I want him to be innocent. I want him to be genuinely innocent, not on some corruption thing where he's paid off the government and he gets away with it, which I don't even think that will happen now. There's much bigger people that seem to be going after this guy.
Yeah, there's so many people that want to take him down that they would not stand for that.
Yeah, so my stance is I want Andrew Tate to be innocent. I want him to walk. Unfortunately, I think the reality is that if he does walk, there'll be new charges that come out. I do think that there's something fishy going on here. Just based on the media's portrayal of him versus other people that have done bad things, it's not consistent, and that makes me raise my eyebrows, especially when I didn't trust these sources anyway.
Is he allowed to, this might be a stupid question, is he allowed to talk to people? Like, could he just FaceTime his friend and have a normal conversation?
I'm not too sure. I mean, people have been, reporters have been showing up to his house and he's been shouting out the window at them, but I don't know if he can make phone calls. I'm not actually too sure.
And all the headlines are now like, yeah, we can't keep attacking this poor man. For 1 year they've attacked me, and they will not stop. And this highlights the difference between the people who are on the side of the establishment and the people who are not on the side of the establishment. I've been offered to sell my soul very many times. I want everyone at home to understand, you do not become the most Googled man on earth, especially amongst a demographic of young men which have money to spend, without very large companies and corporations becoming extremely interested in you. I've been offered $50 to $60 million by companies I'm not going to name. All I had to do was shut up. Shut up, take the money, wear the stupid hat, wave around the stupid drink, whatever it is, and continue to agree with whatever the Matrix says, regardless of my own personal feelings, my personal views and beliefs, and just push it on the minds of young children. And I refuse to do that. I refuse to sell my soul. If I would have sold my soul to a large corporation, and then this attack happened, which I very much doubt this level of Matrix attack would have even happened to me, but if it did, then this large corporation would speak to the media, and the media would be treating me like they treat Philip Schofield. They wouldn't be treating me as an enemy, they would treat me as an ally. All I had to do was sell my soul, and I refused. The recent BBC interview that took place, I don't think most people understand genuinely how snaky that interview was. The reason I had to destroy her so ruthlessly is because of how the interview was set up. When I was in jail, the BBC was constantly trying to get me to give an interview over the phone, and I refused. When I left jail, the BBC begged me for an interview, daily, begging me. And for 3 months, I refused. Eventually, once I understood, after my 3rd month of house arrest, what the Romanian government is going to do to me, which we're going to discuss shortly, I thought now would be a good time to give an interview. BBC begged me, saying that Romania has one of the most corrupt justice systems in Europe, that there's serious problems with the case, lots of evidence that's been leaked shows Andrew's innocent, that Andrew's side of the story hasn't been heard, that we're interested in fair and unbiased journalism, that we don't want to come there and do a hit piece, we want to speak to him and try and find out the truth of what's happening. In fact, we're going to send you the questions we want to ask in advance. I'm not a coward. I never ask for questions in advance. I don't care, because I'm a professional and I will destroy anyone instantly. But they sent us a list of questions. which was shown to me. And I was like, well, those are actually interesting questions. What's my mental health like? What's remaining in jail like? What's it like being in a courtroom where everyone's speaking a language you don't understand and having your liberty deprived of you? I thought this is going to be an interesting interview. I agree. The BBC, all nice smiles and all lies, sent us this entire spiel, turned up, turned the cameras on, sat down and attacked me.
Have you ever put any and applied any psychological control on any of the women you dated?
No, and I respect women. This idea that that I'm so much smarter that I can hypnotize somebody, I think is extremely misogynistic idea. I think your idea is misogynistic to believe that women don't have their own free thoughts and free minds.
They attempted to sucker punch me. They attempted to shake my hand and knock me out with a sucker punch once the cameras were on, to hit me when I was off guard. They expected me to be off guard, ready to talk about my mental health, and hit me with these questions and me make a fool of myself, unaware that I'm a master of Aikido. And when you attempt to sucker punch me, it simply misses, and I destroy you.
I just want to point out that in the BBC interview, right, do you remember when the BBC put their version up, it was 13 minutes? Mm-hmm. The version that Andrew Tate put up was 38 minutes. Mm-hmm. Then the BBC pulled their interview from people in the UK so we couldn't watch it. Then they started striking channels that had uploaded Andrew Tate's version, which is why we took it down, because the BBC were involved. This is Andrew Tate's content, so there's nothing they can do about that. But they started going after channels that had it, which is why we preemptively took our video down. Even though it was tracking well, people were watching it, it wasn't worth risking the channel because, you know, we're not Andrew Tate. We don't have that kind of power. But I do think it's interesting that you interviewed the man for damn near 40 minutes and yet you upload a 13-minute segment of it. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just upload the full thing?
Yeah, there's no reason to condense it to that short as well, because a lot of people would be wanting to watch something that's quite lengthy anyway, because people are interested and want to know, you know, what's going on, what he's got to say. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
If Andrew Tate is the devil that you say he is, you wouldn't condense the video, because more context would mean that he damns himself even more. But all that happened is you realize how stupid you looked when you interviewed the man. He made you look incredibly stupid. And again, I'm not dick riding, because that's what happened. They cut the video down themselves. I don't know why they cut it down, because again, if I was talking to somebody that I thought was a rapist and a human trafficker, I would want as much footage on them as possible of them talking shit. And besides, you would think the woman that came to interview him would have done some research, but she did none, and she made herself look dumb. It's not that hard to push a rapist or a human trafficker into a corner if you know what you're talking about, if you actually believe what they've done is, if they've actually committed heinous crimes. But the problem is that there's nothing, and that's why Andrew Tate ended up making them look stupid. No one knows what's going on, but they came in there with a lot of vitriol and bad intentions, and he made them look silly, and then you made yourself look even more dumb by taking the video down. Should have just owned it. Is that what we were saying about Pearl the other day, right? You put your foot in it, just own it.
I think we're done. Yep.
Unmatched perspicacity. Just because I'm the best there's ever been, and me, with my quick thinking and nearly incomparable wit, can sit and destroy a professional reporter and her entire research team's preparation, just because I make that look easy, doesn't mean I should be forced to succumb to these unfortunate circumstances. 99% of the population, if they were tricked the way I was tricked, would look a fool on camera. They were very prepared to try and make a fool of me. But I'm the best there's ever been. Did they do this to Philip Schofield? No. Where was the BBC's outrage when Rolf Harris or Jimmy Savile were touching children? They don't care. Where's the BBC's outrage when certain other people, high level in society, members of the royal family, are caught having pictures with minors? They don't care. But they will continue to try and convince you that I am something I am not, on repeat, over and over and over again. These people are worse than disingenuous. They are worse than simply liars. They are evil. They are a club. And if you sell your soul and join the club, they offer you protection. And if you don't, they aim to destroy you, which is what they're trying to do to me. The reason I decided to give the interview to the BBC is because I now believe that the next step And I'm going to call it because I've called everything that's happened to me so far. Look at my old interviews. I said stage 2, they're going to try and put me in jail. I understand that you get 3 strikes in this game. Strike 1 is they try and shut you up and discredit you, which I've just been through. Strike 2 is they try and put you in jail for no reason. And strike 3 is they kill you. The truth is this. So I knew it was coming. I absolutely not knew it was coming because of how orchestrated it was. The only thing, and I'll state this at the beginning, the only reason I'm upset by being canceled is because I've expired one of my lives. I mean, I'd never kill myself. Don't fucking try. But, bruv, because that's what's next. That's what's next. It's scary. I'm telling you, everyone thinks I'm paranoid. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. So it's like every single organization on the face of the planet is corrupt. This is what I say to people. I say, listen, and I'm going to say this on this podcast now because I say it on every other one. I would never, ever kill myself. I truly believe they're going to come and they're going to try and kill me on a long enough time frame because they tried to shut me up and I won't shut up. They're either going to try and put me in jail or they're going to kill me. And I would never kill myself under any circumstances ever. And the reason I say this, and I say this to people, and they go, but what can they put you in jail for? And I'm like, how ignorant are you in your ignorance to believe they need a reason? You believe it's fair. You believe I can get a lawyer and prove myself innocent. That's not how it works. They decide you're guilty long before and they find a reason why. And it doesn't matter what you do about it, you will pay the fucking price. It's not fair. None of it is. Every single system's corrupt. It actually annoys me when people say that to me. Well, just get a lawyer. Why? They can't put you in jail if you're innocent. Yes, they fucking can. And that's what people don't understand about the world. They can and they do and they fucking will. And that's what's scary.
Question. No, I'm not saying he's guilty or whatever. I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens. However, do you not think... I understand his point of him being such a powerful person that, yes, these things may potentially happen or can, in some senses, be inevitable. But at the same time, could this be a way of, if he was guilty, knowing that, oh shit, I'm getting bigger than I thought I would be. If I get found out for everything that I've done, let me just throw this out here from now, just in case. As kind of like a cover-up.
Oh, 100%.
You know, you know, sometimes guilty people, they talk to try and sell you that they're not guilty. Not saying he is, by the way, but I'm just saying that all there to me is just a bit odd and strange of, like, it was very specific. When the person was like, but what would they, you know, throw you in prison for? And he's like, you know, are you stupid, basically? Like, they're going to do all of that before even figuring out the reason why they're doing it. And it's just, I just found that a bit odd.
Well, the thing is that what you're saying could be true. It could be theatrics, but what he's saying could also be true.
Both, yeah, 50-50,
both could be true.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's very important that people, like, they look at this with a fair mind. Whilst... do you think he's guilty?
I'm on the fence.
Okay, well, Sabi's on the fence. I don't think he is, but I try to look at these things fairly. Now, I will acknowledge, because Andrew Tate is a great speaker, right? He's one of the great speakers of our time. I think it would be very easy for him to make people believe that he didn't do something. That doesn't mean that
he's very well calculated, this guy. That
doesn't mean that I think he's guilty, though. But I'm open-minded enough to say that, yes, I acknowledge what you're saying. But I think a lot of people also have to be very open-minded that we have seen powerful institutions silence people for bogus reasons.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the person that apparently took their own life in the prison cell, you guys will know who I'm talking about, so-and-so then off himself, that meme that was going around, that story got swept under the rug, and then his girlfriend goes to court, barely heard anything about it. A whole island of miscreants doing things to children, barely any coverage. For the shit that they were doing for years, barely any coverage. Barely any eyes on it. Media kind of dipped their toe in that.
There was somebody else, though, as well, who they said that apparently this person killed themselves, but it's just like so non-believable.
I've seen videos of people, like people in the media, people in Hollywood, saying, I would never do this to myself. I can't even get into it too much, but people know what I'm talking about. And then, a week, 2 weeks later, their brakes weren't working, jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. It's like,
of course, but it is a lot of this is conspiracy as well, though.
It's conspiracy, but I don't trust the people that are pointing the finger. That's why I sit right now. I am leaning more towards Andrew Tate. I'm trying my best to not be biased because I have a heavy dislike for these powerful corporations. and legacy media and all that. Every time I hear the media talking about something, I recall and I'm like, don't believe you. That's my immediate reaction to the media. So because they're all the ones that pointing the finger at Tate, Vice, BBC, Sky News, whoever else, because they're the one pointing the finger, immediately my bias does kick in because I do not trust these people. So that's why I say, I'm just being honest with you guys. I can't always be, I'm trying my best to be impartial on this, but the people that are accusing him are people that I have no faith in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm going to call what's going to happen next. The Matrix is extremely angry. And they are angry because their weapons aren't working. I remain unfazed. This is the first time in history someone who was cancelled became more popular than before.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think Jesus was the first person that was cancelled, right? He became more popular.
Why did Jesus get cancelled?
Well, they put him on a cross, right?
Oh,
they actually cancelled him. Then he became more popular. So
this is the first time in history where a full broadside of media lies for over a year across every single outlet that they control has failed. Nobody believes them. Nobody. So now what do they do? Well, I believe the UK is going to try and raise charges against me. Don't know what for. I've done nothing wrong. Something's going to appear from nowhere. In fact, I will say that I have some very high-level friends and some whistleblowers who are confirming exactly that to me. They've looked at me and thought, we have to get this guy. What's he done? Nothing. Find something. Who cares? Get some papers, move some papers around, get a judge who'll stamp them, and put him in jail. It doesn't matter that I've done nothing wrong. I also want to say that I believe the Romanian government is going to charge me. They're not going to charge me because they have any evidence, and they're not going to charge me because I'm guilty of anything. They're going to charge me because after a 14-month investigation, 6 months of arrest, which is the maximum they can possibly give me without charge, I don't think they can just drop this. Imagine they just drop this tomorrow. Oh, we made it all up. Imagine that.
If they dropped it and said we made it all up, YouTube would fucking explode.
But it's not even about whether they dropped it and said they made it all up or not. Regardless, if they drop it and he just gets let go, there will be a big uproar of all the people who say don't like Andrew Tate. Do you know what I'm saying? So because of how big the whole situation is, he's correct in what he's saying. They've got no choice but to follow through with this now. Like, they've come this far. They can't now just let it go and then without any explanation or anything. It's a lot. The whole thing has been like one of the most popular talked about things as well. So they can't let it go now.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's not to say that they don't have anything to follow through with. Again, trying to be impartial here.
Yeah.
If we're to believe what the people that are pointing the finger are saying, that they've got stuff on him, of course they have to go through with it.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's quite a big allegation as well.
It's a massive allegation.
It should realistically go to this level as well, so that you know that it has been looked into properly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And not just, you can't take something like this lightly.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but you know what I mean? It has to be done properly, and this is the only way to actually resolve this situation. So if he comes out innocent at the end of it, at least everyone can have that peace of mind of knowing that it was looked into properly and handled the correct way, as opposed to people just saying you've let him off because of this reason. And also, if he's found guilty, then again, at least it's been looked into properly, and somebody who's guilty hasn't just gotten away with it.
Yeah.
It's a win-win in both situations. Well, you know what I mean?
Well, either way, whether he's guilty or not, the day that the verdict is passed down, YouTube is going to be on fire on one side, because one side is going to be, I told you so, or the other side is going to be, I told you so.
Yeah.
And they're going to go for each other's necks like crazy, and we're going to scoop up all of those views.
And everyone is going to be unhappy somehow.
I think one side will be happy and one side is going to be very angry, and it's going to spark a lot of different debates with people that thought they knew what they were talking about, whether that is the side that is defending Tate or the side that is against. Me personally, like I said, I think he's innocent. If he gets convicted, I mean, people can leave comments. That just means I was wrong. It's not a big deal to me, but there's some YouTubers
But it should be innocent until proven guilty anyway.
Yeah, it's some YouTubers have really gone to bat for and against him. Like, I mean, really, really gone at him. and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I hope he does walk. I think one, it's a good outcome if he walks, because that means that these things ain't true. And then hopefully he can use his influence to do good things. And I do think it's going to be pretty funny watching some of the YouTubers that really went for his neck crumble. I can't wait to watch Ethan or Hassan or any
Is
of them.
Ethan against Andrew Tate?
What do you think?
Yeah.
They want to look at Ethan. We know where he stands on this.
What choice do they have but to charge me? If they charge me, I have to go to trial. Now, of course, I still believe in Romanian justice. I really, truly believe that even with Romanian justice systems or matrix-controlled justice systems, I will be found innocent. Because I know the case file, I know what's in it. But that's going to take years. They're going to waste 1.5 to 2 years of my life, make me go to trial. Then when I'm found not guilty, it's been years. Who cares, right? Distance from event. If they drop it now, it's the biggest story in the world. They can't drop it. They're going to charge me. They're not going to charge me because I've done anything wrong. They're going to charge me because that's how the Matrix works. Unfortunately, I'm up against an enemy which I can't really, truly beat. I can't beat them. All I can do is continue to discredit them to the point where nobody believes them anymore. And I cannot do that without having perspicacious, intelligent people at home who are analyzing the situation and truly understand what is happening to me. If I have to martyr myself, if I have to some degree sacrifice my liberty and the quality of my life to highlight how the Matrix operates, how the legal system and the media work hand in hand to try and convince the populace somebody is guilty before a judge says they are guilty because they have pre-decided to say this person is guilty because of his wrong think. If I have to sacrifice myself to do those things, then I guess at least my imprisonment is a noble one. And I'm a man. And although Romanian jail is as close to hell as you can find on planet Earth, if I have to suffer it, I will do that because I will not sell my soul. The point of this video is only to highlight and make clear the differences in how the people inside of the club are treated versus the people who are outside of the club. And also for me to predict the future for everyone to understand. When new charges come, when new countries attempt to attack me, when the Matrix unrelentingly continues to print lies about me and try to convince the world that I am a bad person, I hope it does nothing else but show the world that I am a good person. These people are liars. The people they tell you are good are not good. The people they tell you are bad are the good ones. Do not believe a word that they say. All in all, my predictions for the future are not certain. My future is certainly not certain. Whether I'll continue to breathe or continue to be free, nobody knows. But the one thing I can guarantee to absolutely everybody at home, and anybody who believes in me and my message, and anybody who listens to me speak, I will never sell my soul, I will never be controlled, and I will never lie.
He's a clever guy. He really is a clever guy.
He's a very, very, very captivating speaker. And I think because he's so good at speaking, like I never see him with a script. Every time I see him on a podcast, they ask him a question, he can just rattle off. I think somebody with that level of charisma and is able to captivate people with his speeches, if he is what he says he is, then he can actually sway public discourse quite quickly.
I mean, I already felt a little bit swayed there. Can't lie.
Yeah, I do think it's important to point out that Andrew Tate is a really good speaker. So he can sway public opinion, but at the same time, the media is a very powerful machine that sways public opinion. So I think
he also said, I can't beat them.
You can't beat them. There's too many of them to beat. I mean, we're operating on their platform.
There's too much power, yeah.
Like I said, I'm not one of these people that like, Andrew Tate definitely didn't do it. But there's something about this whole situation that stinks to me. And I don't know the ins and outs of it. If you quiz me on it, I probably won't be able to give you concrete answers. I can only really point to how disingenuous the media is, my contempt for them, how inconsistent they are. And a lot of the time, a lot of people's hate towards Andrew Tate comes from clips, which is easy to like shut them down because they're just consuming clips. But I don't have anything concrete. It's all speculation. I've told you guys where I lean. Sabi's on the fence. I hope he's innocent. I guess in 1 to 2 years, we're going to find out. This situation is going to continue to develop. We're just going to have to wait and see.
If he is innocent, though, it's just sad that he's had to go through all of this. Like,
if Andrew Tate is innocent and they've done this to him, they are going to turn him into literally an unstoppable force. If he walks out of that courtroom and that evidence does not stick, then what he was saying with they'll take you to court, they'll throw you in prison, and then they'll kill you, right? And the thing is, he said it so many times now that if either way, whatever outcome happens now, there's going to be some sort of shitstorm. Whether he goes to prison, walks, gets killed, or whatever, he's allowed to go back onto these platforms. Whatever happens, this discourse it's changed now.
yeah.
Everything has changed because of this situation. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But I quickly wanted to show you this, because I thought this did. So this little weasel is from Vice. This is the guy that did the hit piece on Andrew Tate. They invited him into his house and he did the whole hit piece on them. They're the ones that doctored that interview. So they kind of made it look like he said something he didn't.
Nu să mă filmeze pe mine. Dați-vă mai în spate. Back, privat. Back.
This road is public.
Nu e public, e privat. Police, privat.
Okay, we just want to ask some questions to Andrew.
No, it's not possible.
So we need to give him the right to respond. Andrew, I know you can hear me, so I'm just going to ask it one more time. We've seen internal chat logs from the Warham's Telegram group.
No.
That demonstrate that the Warham... What's that?
You have my chocolate?
Sorry?
Do you have my chocolate?
I'm asking you about the internal chat logs from the Telegram group of the Warham that demonstrate that the Warham is actually a society that trains men how to groom women.
E privată toată strada. Păi chemă poliția, dă-mă de la 112 ca să vină poliția. Call the police, okay.
So do you maintain that this is all still a Matrix attack and that there's no evidence, or what's your position on the indictment? What's that? Talk to us tomorrow? Chocolates? You must realize how silly that question sounds alongside my question, which is about human trafficking.
Pune mâna pe mine. Puneți mâna pe mine.
Aveți dreptul să filmați înăuntru? Aveți dreptul să filmați înăuntru? Hai, du-te-mă de aici. Nu filmezi, asta e stradă privată, băi nebunule, dacă tot vrei să mă înțelegi. Degeaba dai tu drumul la camera să mă înțelegi. Dați-i drumul de aici. Dacă chiar sunteți nesimțiți. Eu vin la tine în casă să te filmezi? Un bulangiu păros.
Tristan put out saying Matt Shea came to my gate shouting questions at me. I asked him politely if he had chocolates and he refused to answer my question. Shame. Would have loved an interview. Wizz Air home? I guess. And Andrew responded with laughing faces. Someone else put, babe, shall we chip in and buy him a Dacia? Tristan then responded saying, let's not spoil the kid.
That Matt Shea guy is a little weasel. I can't stand Vice. Of all the media outlets, Vice might be up there, one of the worst. And you know what? Vice used to be pretty good. They used to put out some good documentaries, but their credibility sunk right into the toilet. I mean, Andrew Tate did release that video saying, if you want to interview me, it's £50,000 and a box of chocolates, right?
Okay.
Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember. He said it in the podcast. He did the 5-hour one. He said that was his requirement for people interviewing him. Matt Shea already went into his house and did a hit piece on him. Of course, he's not going to answer your questions. What did you think was going to happen? Anyway, I haven't really got anything else. I obviously, you can tell I hate mainstream media. I can't stand them. I think they're full of shit. Every time they say stuff, I look sideways. That's why I stand on it. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah. See you in 2 years.
We'll still be here in 2 years, I reckon.